Good evening, good morning, good night, you lovelies. It is the one, the only Cappy D Barra, and we are here to get to a review for AEW's Dynamite, October 22nd, 2025. Hope everybody is enjoying their whenever time of day they're catching this, and that they're in a good spot when it comes to sports and sports entertainment alike. All right, we'll be getting to two small pieces of the news. All right, Kenny, one of the Von Erich brothers, put over AEW in a very heartfelt fashion, saying that the Hangman and the environment that is being created over there at AEW, it is the dream that the Von Erichs, really pushed for when they were venturing into NWA, countering the Fed in its original, the Fed in its original. Fed in its original form. NWA was a battle that was long fought, is even still kind of longly being fought against the Fed. That, along with WCW, TNA, AEW, it is the sport of revolution, and it is definitely the spirit of revolution flowing through the veins of the Hangman, as Mr. Von Erich so eloquently put it. We're also going to possibly be getting a non-return from Chris Jericho, meaning Chris Jericho might return to AEW program. Listen, if you ask me, Chris Jericho should have retired at least 2 years ago. But since that he is going to be doing this whole, I don't even know what I don't really know what this is. Since he's doing it though, we have to sit here and accept the facts. Okay, he will be showing up somewhere sometime soon to either no pop or a massive pop. All right. I'm not sure which one it's gonna be, but it's definitely gonna be one or the other. And I don't really know if I want to see Chris Jericho segments or Chris Jericho raps. So there's that. And last but not least, one Samantha Irwin is under a 2-year non-compete for being an announcer. That's fucking dystopian. And people making excuses for it are the same people that try to make excuses for Andrade's situation. You people are fucking bootlickers, and it's nasty. It's fucking nasty. They are the Fed for a reason, because they move like the fucking CIA. It's disgusting. Okay. Briefly, before this episode of Dynamite, we're also going to be touching on NXT. Really quick couple of things. So Luke was injured. That fucking sucks. The production in WWE has been poor and underfunded for a while now. Stop going to Saudi. Stop putting the pyro into the fucking tanks and get these wrestlers some fucking practice in the ropes. All right? Stuff like this wouldn't happen if we just had more time to flesh out these fucking moves and adapt to other wrestlers' playing styles, right? You can't sit there and just throw somebody in with a fucking fresh fish who's barely wrestled and expect to walk out clean, right? A lot of shit that goes into that, man. I'm really not happy about the state of NXT. I'm really not happy about what they're going to be doing with Trick Williams in the future. Trick Williams has been in the quote-unquote developmental show for over 4 years. He's been quote-unquote developing for almost half a decade now. It doesn't need to be developmental anymore. If they're not going to brand that shit like a New Japan, ROH, where it's just the best wrestle here, and we have great wrestling, and come check us out. We're not tribalist at all. We promise anybody can come wrestle here. Until they break down these Fed-like barriers, this shit's just going to be subpar. Again, Ricky Starks, he gets a really good promo. Everyone on that fucking locker room can wrestle. There are good wrestlers, even wrestlers I personally just don't like Jada Parker. Not a big fan of her, but she can wrestle. She's a good performer. I don't understand what they're doing with the brand of NXT and the booking of NXT. Trick Williams and some of these people like Javon Evans, Ethan Page, they need to be on the main card. They have to be on the main. Ethan Page, if he's not on the main card within the next year, he will have fully fizzled out. Full fizzle. I'm talking Austin Theory's level of cold. Oh man, it's weird, man. There needs to be a draft. There needs to be a draft immediately. We need to knock this shit out the park. Just like we're gonna knock this Dynamite review. Clean out the fucking park, bang that up. Because if you ask me, I've been yapping for too long already. Okay, a lot more yapping to go. All right, we heard people versus the Ops. All right, Samoa Joe, Shibuda, and Powerhouse Hobbs versus Shelton Benjamin, MVP, and Bobby Lashley. This is for the Trios Championships, which I'm very, very happy with. I like the idea of these championships being defended. It makes them feel important. This is a really great opening. We get some great minutes between Shibuda and Shelton, which I think is great. Also, some great pairs between Joe and Shelton, Bobby Lashley and Powerhouse Hobbs. It's just good fucking wrestling. This was a great way to open up your show. I really liked how Joe played to the more heelish aspects, even though the Hurt Syndicate are technically a kind of tweener team, right? It's kind of interesting. The Admirals come out, dressed in their Admiral garbs, Ricochet and the boys, and they kind of cost Hurt Syndicate the match. MVP eats the pin, and Joe has a really impassioned speech after. He says that everyone's asking, why'd you do it, Joe? Why'd you do it? And I'm telling all of you guys, I did it because I'm fucking Samoa Joe. I have air in my lungs, and that means I must conquer, I must destroy, and I must wreak havoc. I fucking loved this promo. What I really also loved from Joe is his I like how effortlessly Joe can put over Hobbs and Shibuda. He says that he loves being in San Antonio because just the city for Powerhouse Hobbs practice all his powerlifting with all these big heavy set San Antonio women out here. I liked it, man. It was pretty funny. That popped me. I really like the Ops defending, though. The Ops also being a heel team now, it just fits. It fits their vibe. Also, the name. Like Joe says, we're the Ops and we're not lacking. Them being a heel team, it just hits harder. And it's funny, too, because parts of the match, the crowd is cheering for Joe because, again, he is like a foot out the door already, folks. And I know that they're gonna keep telling us 2027. Brother, I'm looking at Joe and I'm looking at Sting. Okay, I'm looking at Joe and I'm looking at John. I'm looking at Joe and I'm looking at AJ. Like these guys, Sting has already left the building, but I guess people I guess people don't understand what I'm trying to say. These are men who are on their retirement run. They're already out of here, right? Are men who already had their retirement run. So it brings a tear to the eye, man. Brings a tear to the eye. I'm really thankful for Joe, though. We're going to get another segment for Full Gear. We get a really, really cute segment, actually. I enjoyed it. It was very whimsical. Nice, we get a very whimsical segment from Chris Statlander, the Strap Daddy, which I enjoyed a lot. Going around to Renee, and she's hitting Mercedes with cute little quips and just warning shots of, I'm an intergalactic beast. I've conquered the stars, and I'll conquer you, Mercedes. Something that you've never done, win a world championship. I like it. The story into this, it's very simple, and it's a very effective story because we see that it really does weigh on Mercedes not having this accomplishment, right? I really also enjoyed the entrance from Mercedes MONE. She has a bunch of indie wrestlers just carrying her belt. She shows up in a fucking limousine, fucking JBL style. It's pretty fly. What's really interesting, though, is the celebration that's supposed to take place for the celebration that's supposed to take place for Mercedes MONE. It is surprisingly Mini MONE, and it's Harley Cameron. Now, if you want to connect the webs, Harley Cameron has been teaming up with Straplander. So I guess the idea kind of is, Harley and Chris thought it would just be a cute, funny little idea. But it is so interesting, man, because and I can't fucking wrap my head around this. I think you guys remember maybe an episode or two ago when I literally put in a segment from the after show in Boston for AEW Spring Breakthrough. In Harley Cameron and Mercedes MONE, they fucking shook the entire stadium, bro. It was insane. They were so insanely over. I'll literally put another clip right now. CEO, 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 CEO.
You have to admit she did a pretty good job. What do you think? No.
For this to be the direction, right? And it makes perfect sense. But it's man, to see Mini MONE go out there, and she's so callous. And I'm just looking at this, I'm I don't remember Mini MONE being this maniacal. like it's interesting, and I guess it is really just like a swerve on the character, right? Maybe Harley Cameron at that one time with Minnie Monet and Mercedes Monet, Spring Breakthrough. They're maybe trying to go for a face thing with Mercedes. Maybe it wasn't working in other states. That wasn't Massachusetts, Boston, Mercedes Monet's hometown. So that also goes into her being over there. I guess what I'm really just trying to say is we get a complete separation of Minnie Monet and Mercedes Monet. Minnie Monet comes out there, she's kind of just mocking Mercedes, like, I'm the best champion of all time. I'm getting another championship from a little girl's Walmart section. It's kind of funny, right? It's kind of just blowing smoke up Mercedes' ass. Mercedes comes out and she's like, I'm tired of being joked. I'm tired of being like characterized. I'm tired of being belittled for my accomplishments. And it's so interesting. It's like the concept of Minnie Monet, the caricature, right? The simplification of Minnie Monet. It is to a finer extent some of Mercedes Monet, obviously not the person playing Mercedes Monet, because again, this is all predetermined. It's not fake. It's a work, right? That character is hypothetically, that character hypothetically, if they were greedy, if they were envious, if they were unremarkably unfriendly, right? These would all be characteristics that you would have to deal with as just a random jobber Joe Schmo, again, all in kayfabe with Mercedes Monet. So for Mercedes Monet to have to confront that, and her immediate reaction would be to lash out and, kind of wave the accomplishments in all of our face, for the 90th time, which a lot of people are getting tired of, but into the story of never being a world champion, right? Think about this. She is carrying around an Owens tournament title. Now, personally, that was my first year even catching the Owens tournament. So the fact that I keep looking at that belt just reminds me of all the amazing times that tournament brought us as AEW watchers, right? Same thing I would feel if there was a great tournament. Fucking Sami Zayn was running around with the tournament belt. I'm like, oh man, that's a tournament belt. Oh, that's when he had that classic with Penta and Punk and X, Y, and Z. It's good for the memories, but in reality, she shouldn't be carrying the belt around, right? Hangman, the first opportunity he got, he relinquished the belt, and he opened the door for the next challenger. But it's kind of implied that we're not going to see Mercedes Moné lose all of these belts until next year, Owens tournament, until next year, Owen Hart's tournament for the women's title. And we're going to see the final piece of the domino fall for Mercedes Moné, or maybe the 5th to 4th to 17th piece. We can go so many places with this Mercedes Moné shit. She is giving a shine to indie wrestling acts I'm always going to be a fan of. And not to mention, they're good matches. She puts on good matches. I didn't expect them to really sever the hand of Minnie Monet like this, but I guess for canon reasons, Harley Cameron being the really shocked me. But I mean, it's really strong showing from Chris, and it is setting up this split, this kind of natural split happening between Harley and Chris, meaning that Chris is supposed to be venturing off to keep defending solo title 1v1 matches, and for Harley Cameron to unfortunately maybe eat a pin to Athena and Mercedes Moné. Listen. I stay off AEW's back a lot. We're going to be getting to something else that really bothered me about this show. If Willow fucking Nightingale gets snuffed out of a title opportunity in the first round, I'm going to lose my fucking mind. She is the most over female face. Athena and Mercedes can't lose. There's 15 titles in between two of them. Oh, so what it's looking like is Harley Cameron and Mercedes. So what it's looking like is Harley Cameron's going to eat the pin. Willow's going to lose title gold opportunity. And yeah, I'm trying to stay calm about it. I'm not calm. It actively pisses me off so much that the next thing that I have an issue with this show is going to be just as fucking, if it's not going to be just as fiery, maybe more. Really big point of contention. I digress. I will digress, okay? I really don't have that big of a problem with the tournament. Again, same thing with the Owen Hart tournament. I look at the belt, I get nostalgia. I'm looking at these belts, I'm be thinking of all the great matches between, I think it's about 12 amazing wrestlers on that card. So we're gonna get a little bit of stardom coming to AEW. Let's fucking go. We get a speech from the one, the only Darby Allin. All right, Darby goes out there with the AEW flag. He does a pretty good promo, and we are rehashing Mox versus Darby. The story I guess in this match is the story I guess in this match is that, were they St. Louis? Yes. I guess the story is for this match that St. Louis legally didn't let them blade, so they're going to be doing it in a state that will definitely let them blade. Because honestly, I was expecting something a lot more hardcore. But I mean, you drown somebody, you choke somebody out, glass, right? And you couldn't even properly blade on like a legal level. So, whatever. I didn't hate it though. I didn't hate it. It is going to be going into though a conversation that we will be having later. We're gonna save that for another minute. Just a couple more minutes. We're gonna be getting to it. It does kind of play into the situation that I have with this overall episode. But, I mean, story-wise, it makes sense. Mox also responds with a backstage vignette of himself and the Death Riders asking Darby, what will it take for him to submit? What would it really take for him to quit, for him to stop trying to accomplish his foolish goals? Simple heel shit, but it is effective because Jon Moxley is an amazing orator. So, there's that. I'm really excited, though, to see what we can get after Full Gear, just with all these stories. I mean, Darby could hypothetically be going up against Hangman Adam Page, which I think that would be pretty interesting. Just two faces. Maybe Darby has kind of just gotten a little cold and isolated after his war with the Death Riders and his climb up to Mount Everest. People are tired of him mentioning Mount Everest. I'm a little tired of it, but it's growing on me. I don't know what you guys want me to tell you. He has successfully climbed Mount Everest. It's one of those things that's like, yeah, Uncle fucking Vermin is never going to shut up about the fact that he shot 62 Vietnam soldiers. It was 52 Vietnam soldiers. I would brag about that. He climbed to the top of Mount Everest. Okay, who cares? I liked it though. I really like what they're setting up from these two. And honestly, depending on the ending of Full Gear, Darby going after the championship match, we might get Darby and Samoa. Nigga. Darby and Samoa. Ugh, I'm excited. I want to see that ASAP. But again, that's all in account of Joe winning Darby versus Hangman. If Hangman walks away, I'm down for either. I'm down for anything. All right, give it to me. All right, we get a Roderick versus Mox match. Speak of the devil and he will arrive. Really, really good match. I was only unfortunately able to catch a bit of the ending, which I liked. Time is a bit of a construct. I enjoyed Roderick Strong's defiance, though. Roderick Strong, again, probably one of the better wrestlers in that locker room, maybe top 20 in the world, right? He's amazing. He's an amazing wrestler. The second his engine gets going, and I like this whole conglomeration thing that he's doing with conglomeration. He's pro-conglomeration, anti-conglomeration. I like it. I don't give a fuck. I'm a fan. All right, I'm a fucking fan of it. I also really appreciate how they come down to save Roderick Strong. The finish of this match is Roderick Strong getting the better hand of Moxley. Again, amazing technical wrestler in Roderick Strong. Roderick Strong, he puts Moxley in an ankle lock. Moxley, he spurs himself up and he just stiff elbows the ref, knocking him out. And I guess the story going into this is that Mox is so afraid after his loss to Hangman and his subsequent loss to Darby Allin, where he doesn't want to submit, he doesn't want to quit anymore. So we're probably going to see another more extreme version of a Scorpion Deathlock from Darby Allin on Full Gear to really full circle this whole submission, quitting, will, spirit breaking kind of thing for Darby Allin. We will most likely get a turn from Claudio Castagnoli very soon. I'm excited to see that. I also know that Jon Moxley can just put on amazing fucking matches with whoever he walks in the ring with. So even if I would like it for it to be anybody else who isn't somebody who we just faced off against, it's going to be a competent match and maybe a little bit more on the ECW side of things that I expected for the last match. All right, I got to take things with a grain of salt when it comes to the dub. All right, I just realized that I was calling Kyle O'Reilly Roderick Strong for all of that match. Apologies to Mr. O'Reilly. Okay, after this match, a little straightforward, we get the conglomeration versus the Death Riders. The Death Riders are all over this card. What can I say? They are eternal. They're inevitable. All right, just like Thanos. I didn't hate this match. What I found though is this match was a lot shorter A lot shorter than I thought it was going to be, especially with Danny Garcia and Claudio. But I mean, that is Mox not wrestling, you know, so that kind of chops off like 10 minutes right there, and just offense and defense from him. I did not expect to like this match as much as I did, though. Danny Garcia and Orange Cassidy. Mark Briscoe does a great job of securing the win also. He hits Yuta with its Jade Driller, 1, 2, 3. That wraps up the entire match. A little bit shorter than I thought it would be. What we get after this, though, is the surprising part. All right? Or not so surprising. Pac jumps on the Death Riders. They just start beating the fuck out of the Death. Pac jumps on the Conglomerate. They start beating the fuck out of the Conglomerate. And Darby Allin comes down with the Sting Bat. Right? Darby Allin comes running down his house. And what I really liked about this is Darby just still showing some form of resistance. Right? There is still a level of hatred boiling up in Darby Allin for the Death Riders. And I wouldn't have too much of a problem with this if we weren't getting to our next segment. All right. Kyle Fletcher goes out there, and you know he's with Don Callis, and they're doing the normal shtick, saying how illustrious and how glorious of a championship run this has been for Kyle Fletcher. Which, for all things ostensibly, it has been a pretty good run for Kyle Fletcher. Mark Briscoe comes out, and my only issue with this is Mark Briscoe, Kyle Fletcher. Is because Mark Briscoe, Kyle Fletcher, Samoa Joe, Hangman, Darby, and Mox. It's 3 pay-per-view matches that we just got on the next pay-per-view. I'm not a big fan of that. I'm not a big fan of that. I don't know why they're doing that. Kind of silly. It's silly. I mean, again, like with Darby Allin and Mox, like you legally couldn't blade, so that probably took a lot of the wind. It probably took a lot of the oxygen out of the room, hypothetically. And I kind of understand what we're supposed to be getting for, and I pretty much understand what we're supposed to be getting for the pairing of Samoa Joe and Hangman, right? He wants to put the nail in the coffin and prove that good guy, bad guy, Samoa Joe is the baddest motherfucker alive, right? I understand that. But this is Mark Briscoe's like 3rd clean loss to Kyle. It is his 3rd, because there were 2 before Wrestle Dream. I don't like this. It's probably gonna happen realistically. So I'm not a fan of that. And I hope they don't do it. I don't know if they're going to, because realistically on paper it doesn't look good. It doesn't look very sexy on paper, but who knows what they do. Who knows what they do? Not the biggest fan of this. Really quick, we're gonna touch on the broke Bucks. All right, they broke people. I love this. This entire segment, this entire banter between Tony Khan awkwardly looking at the camera. It was pretty early in the show, but I have to address it. There are parts of this show that still keep me coming back, and the broke Bucks are for fuck sure one of them. Okay, getting to the end of the show. All right, we get some amazing segments from not only from the Young Bucks, but Thekla. She has a phenomenal segment with Mina Shirawa, and they're setting up a match on Collision, which I think is going to fuck very hard. It is also a match between Bandino and Okada to empty out this show. There's also some Okada stuff going to be happening, I believe, on either Collision or just Don Callis family shit happening on Collision. We all know that Don Callis is the secret manager for Collision. Okay, this match was fucking good. Like, this was a really good match, a very, 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 very strong match, and I honestly did not think it would perform to the levels it performed to. It left me kind of shocked. It ran for about 15 minutes and it went into quote-unquote overtime. I'm assuming that TBS just gives AEW this leverage because they are sports first, right? They're not entertainment. It shocked me though, because the amount of time that this match gets, it deserves every second, and maybe even seconds more. The amount of setups and false finishes between Okada and Bandino, you think that they two had wrestled against each other for years, for centuries at this point. It's really phenomenal. It's really phenomenal shit from these two. 4 out of 5, like 4.5 stars, easy. And I want to see these two lock up again. I thought that Bandino would be walking away with this title multiple times during this match. You guys have to understand that there has to be some kind of stakes going into Takeshita and Okada. And if it's really not going to be that unified belt, then it could be the IWGP belt. That's on the table, right? So Either way that these guys would have went with this, I wasn't upset, but man, did Okada put on an amazing fucking match. Bandito's grandmother was like in the first row, and Okada gave her like the sweetest smile after like she touched his hand. Oh, Okada, my sweet baby boy, my sweet baby boy. I loved it, man. I loved it. I loved everything about this. This show ended on a very, very high note. Again, the rematches pissed me the fuck off, and I'm also really not fucking happy with the kind of callous nature that we have treated Mini Monet. I just think that was a money factory waiting to happen. Mini Monet puppets on every single shelf, on every single fucking show. Live, dark, fucking live events. Like, Mini Monet would have been everywhere, right? But for the sense of the story and for the sake of where they're going with Chris Statlander, they killed it on Arrival. Can't be too upset about that. You know, it makes sense for the longevity of things. Hopefully these replays and these rematches are continual. If they keep fucking marketing Collision and stacking Collision like this, we're going to see a steady viewership from Collision and Dynamite. Yo, when we get there, shit gonna get scary. Like, shit is going to get very scary when the numbers start coming back. The same amount of people are viewing Dynamite are the same amount of people viewing Collision. Super cool, bro. Super cool. Dynamite are the exact same amount of people viewing Collision. That is a retained audience to a T. There's a retained audience to a T. Okay, it's possible. It's not impossible. I really like this Dynamite though. I really like this Dynamite. I wonder what we can get from it next week, and I wonder what we can build to. I've been yapping for a lot of this video. All right, so I'm going to cap this off here. I had a really good time with this Dynamite. Tony Khan just has to sharpen up his blade on a couple of things. All right, but you know what they say: we forge new blades to chip away the mistakes of yesterday. All right, this be your boy Captain Ibarra. All right, this was Dynamite, October 22nd, 2025. All right, y'all stay safe. Y'all stay tuned. Y'all stay beautiful. Peace.